Q&A. Tammy's still having massage, so I'm going to go on by myself. Love your videos. Mike Mont says, love your videos. You and Tammy provide. Just got my first Frenchie's, a tri-merle. I wanted to get his DNA tested. Who do you recommend? We use animal genetics. So animal genetics does not include a test for coat length, does not include a test for merle, but you can pay for those. Of course, if you've got a merle dog, why would you have a test for merle? You know it's present, so it doesn't even need to be tested for merle. They don't have a test for intensity, and there are a number of other places to go for this stuff. And I don't use the other places, but there's UC Davis. I think they're pretty good. VetGen takes an awful long time to get results back, maybe a couple of months. So I think that's pretty useless. Embark, Embark does all kinds of tests. I don't know what the prices are, but they do lots and lots of different tests on things like health, wellness, and things like that. Their results are difficult to read sometimes and certainly get me confused, but it's mostly because I'm not used to looking at them that much. And I don't know what the price is. And I've only used them one time to test for the whether a Frenchie was 100% genuine. And luckily it came back 100% genuine. So that's my only use. Then there's Paws and Pals. So there's the ones you can go to. I like animal genetics, but they're not the only game in town. Hi, my Frenchie is a blue brindle. If I use a platinum cream, can I get rid of or disguise the brindle in pups, in your opinion? So the first thing is that, you know, with brindle, if you've got a dog that carries a copy of brindle, on average, half the puppies are going to inherit that from that parent. And you can disguise the brindle so it doesn't show up, but you can't get rid of it. It's still genetically there. So I don't want to make this sound like you can fool somebody into thinking that the dog's not brindle when it is, because that's going to get you in trouble. You need to disclose what dogs are. But here's the way that you can make the brindle not be apparent. Turn it into a cream dog. Cream covers brindle. Like white paint, it covers everything up. You will not see the brindle. If you've got a cream dog, you don't know whether that dog carries a copy of brindle unless you know the DNA and the parents or you did a DNA test on. Merle dogs. Merle is a pattern that is similar to it's a bigger blotches versus stripiness, but it tends to hide the brindle. And when you look at a Merle dog, it can be hard to tell whether it's just a straight Merle or in fact it's a brindle Merle. So that's pretty much it. So when we start talking about things like platinums, a platinum dog is a cream dog, and it's also a blue dog, and it's also a chocolate dog. The only way that's going to help you disguise the brindle is if your dog carries a copy of cream. If it does, then half the litter end up being cream or some version of it, and those dogs won't show the brindle. And by the way, pied is another way of doing this. It seems as though there's a lot more value in a pied brindle versus a straight brindle dog. I'll give you an example. A straight brindle dog might be a $1,500 dog. A pied version of it might be a $3,000, $3,500 dog. So there's some ways that you can make the brindling become more attractive to people in terms of what they're prepared to pay for dog. And this is not, by the way, a comment about the fact that I visually don't like the way a brindle dog looks. Brindle's fine, especially some of these reverse brindles are gorgeous looking dogs. It's just a question of what sells in the marketplace. That's all we're talking about here. It's nothing to do with whether it's a better dog or a worse dog or a prettier color. It's not a conversation about that at all. This is just a conversation about, you know, why you might want to hide brindle up and how you can do it. Callywhack says, hey, love your videos, learning a lot on them. I have a question. My female lab is in heat now, November the 20th, first day. She's almost 2 years old. This is her second heat. When should I breed her? 11 today to 14, need your help. Thanks, take care. Okay, so she came, first heat was November the 20th. So what we would recommend would be that you do your first progesterone test about day 6 or 7. So November the 27th would be the time to go get a progesterone test done. Now, November the 27th is a Saturday, so I don't know whether that's feasible for you or not, but I would be getting a progesterone test in hand by that following Monday, so I knew what the next step was. If you're not going to do that, then you're going to have to base this off blood color, reaction to males, and timing. And typically, most dogs will get bred between day 11 and 13. If you're doing it strictly off that, I recommend you breed at least twice, 2 days apart, and you wait for probably a day after the blood color starts to get lighter in color, and she's showing, it gets to the point where she'll let males get up on her back. There's some replies on this. I wonder what the replies are. Oh, here we go. Mystic River says, if she's never had a litter before, I would do a baseline day 5 or 6. Then according to where you would be either 2 to 4 days unless she is already high. Yeah, well, exactly. They're saying the same thing I'm doing. That's good advice. Right. Beachside Bullies had a litter of 7 a week ago. It's a lot of work. Me and my wife are exhausted. So let's see what the responses are. Labardo says, yes, breeding is not as easy job. A lot of people nowadays don't think it's a way to get rich quick. It's a lot of work if you do it right. Correct. Yeah. So I would say this about that. Certainly you don't want to start breeding a dog until you realize what the process and steps are and what your part of this whole process is, so you can make sure it's something that's going to fit in with your lifestyle. Because it does restrict you leaving the house, leaving puppies by themselves, meeting people to sell puppies, marketing puppies, taking videos of puppies, looking after puppies, cleaning up puppy poop, so on and so forth. There's definitely, there's a dirty side to all of this, and it's not all fun and games. And it does, and I mean, once you've, in my opinion, if you've gone down the road that says we're going to have a litter of puppies, you need to go through it properly. You don't just want to, and I get people who call me up and, they're literally at the point where the dog's going to go into labor and they haven't got any plans at all. That's really not the way to do it. It's not the way to do it because it's not fair on the mama. It's not the way to do it because it's not fair on the puppies. And it's not the way to do it because it'll get you stressed out. Now, back to this particular person. And I say this to Beachside Bullies: go check out our heated whelping system, because I promise you that this will make your life so much easier. So I'm going to spend the rest of the video plugging my product and why we believe it's so good. So this is a product that we've developed over the last, I don't know, probably 7-8 years now. It's patented by us. And the reason it works so well is it takes the work element away from you and puts it on mum's back. So you've got 2 different ways that you can do this. I mean, there's 2 ways that typically I see this going down. The way that I don't like, and the way that a lot of you are doing this, is that you take puppies away from mum and you put them in an incubator and you just put puppies with mum every 3 hours to feed. And the reason that you're doing this is because you're worried about mum getting rough with puppies or stepping on puppies and smothering them. And that is a real concern. And so what are the things that you need to do to provide a safe environment for puppies? It's relatively straightforward. Puppies need to have a method so they don't get stepped on, which is called a pig rail. So you put a railing around the inside perimeter of whatever whelping box you're using. So it's a place that if mum falls asleep and she starts wriggling around and backing up towards the wall with a puppy behind her, that puppy has a way to get away from being squished against the wall and getting back to being able to nurse. So that's fundamental. If you don't have a pig rail, then you need to rethink things, because you're just getting started in the process. And I promise you, if you don't have a pig rail and you have enough puppies, you will lose puppies over this. And it's a silly mistake to make when it's the solution is so simple. It's a pig rail. So that's fundamental, is a pig rail. So here's the next. So the next thing you have to have is you have to keep puppies warm. Puppies get cold very quickly. They don't have any way of regulating their temperature. And a newborn puppy up to 10 days old can get cold pretty quickly. And in a matter of a few hours, a puppy can go from being a healthy, happy puppy to being dead because it got cold. And once a puppy gets cold, it's difficult to get them back to where they need to be. And it requires, number 1, an incubator, and number 2, some time and effort to catch them at the right time. So how do you do this? So this is why our system works so well. So the first thing is that mum does not like this extra heat. If you put a heat lamp, she's closest to it, she hates it. If you put a heating pad underneath the whole thing, she's getting heated up from the bottom, she hates it. So what's she doing? She's stepping up, she's trying to cool off, she's walking around, she steps on a puppy. So we want her to want to be in there with her babies. And by the way, that's where mums and babies should be together. I mean, all mammals are like this. They have an instinct to look after their babies till their death. And so human beings and all animals are, geared up evolutionary wise to look after their babies. And when you start separating babies from mums, that causes anxiety in mum. She doesn't like it. So when you separate the mum, you have avoided the instance of the puppy getting squished. That I grant. But what you've done is that you've done a number of things that cause problems. I'm going to go over what those are now. They're not obvious. So the first one is anxiety. The mum is not happy about the fact she's being separated from her babies. She gets anxiety over this. Or she may get to the point that she doesn't bond properly with the babies. She never becomes a good mother. And she may not even feed them. So that's the first part, is this relationship between mums and their babies. Then the second part about this is that when you take a mum away from her babies for hours, her milk supply starts to load up and her boobs get big, and she now has lots and lots of milk that needs to be drained. You put her there in with the babies. The babies have not fed for 3 hours. They are hungry. And it is a frickin' free-for-all. It's everybody swamps mum to get fed. And so the next thing you know is you see puppies with milk running down their noses. And they've got milk running down their noses for 2 reasons. Mum's milk pressure's gone up because she hasn't been drained. And they are fighting other puppies to get to a nipple, and because they're hungry as hell and they don't know when they're going to get fed next. So what you do is you use our patented heated whelp system. And the way this works is that we provide you a very easy way to build a pig rail in a cage, so it can be done literally in minutes. All comes apart so you can put the thing back under the bed when you've had your litter. And the critical part about this is that we place a thermostat controlled heat tape directly under the pig rail on the underneath of whatever floor we're using for the whelping box. So what happens now is that puppies, mum's in there on a cold floor. She's happy, she's not getting heated up. She's very happy about the situation. She wants to be with the babies. She's just resting. The puppies are nursing on mum. Wonderful. Now, puppies finish nursing, they fall off mum, they want to go to sleep, they're on this relatively cold floor, they're not liking it, they start moving around in search for a warmer place, and they accidentally bump into the heated area under the pig rail. They fall asleep literally within 10 seconds. I mean, they just, wham, you'll see them curled up under the pig rail, and you'll see 4 or 5 puppies curled up on the pig rail, fast asleep, and they're going to spend, over the 3-hour period till when they might want to be fed again, they're going to spend 2 hours and 55 minutes underneath that pig rail. It means that they're going to spend something like, almost all of their time, 95% of the time, they're under the pig rail. Guess what? They can't get squished. Guess what? They can't get cold. Guess what? Mum's happy. Guess what? They don't all nurse on mum at the same time. It solves all these problems all in one go. And I've literally got thousands of people now using our system, and I every day get pictures back where people say things like, I can't believe I got my life back, thanks very much, because they were getting up every 3 hours in the night to feed these puppies. So let your mums be mums, put them in a safe environment, use our heated whelping system, and I promise you, you will be glad that you did it. There we go. There's a big plug for my system. But it really does work well. Our incubators are great too, but our heated whelping system, is absolutely the best idea that we've come up with. And, it takes quite some time to think of these things and then build something that works reliably. And we're 7 years down that road, and we have a really stable, good product to do this. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye. For watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.